Have you ever wondered why so many elderly people quietly slip away before reaching 82? Even though just a few years earlier, they seemed healthy, full of life, still walking, still laughing, still making plans. So what changed? It's not heart disease. It's not cancer. And no, it's not some dramatic fall or accident. It's something far more silent, far more overlooked, and far more devastating. I'm Dr. Emma, a specialist in men's health with over 30 years of experience helping seniors not just add years to their lives, but add life to their years. And what I'm about to share with you may challenge everything you thought you knew about aging. Through decades of clinical practice, thousands of patient journeys, and mountains of research, I began to uncover patterns that most doctors miss. Because what if I told you that one of the most powerful predictors of how long and how well you'll live after 60 isn't in your blood pressure readings, isn't in your cholesterol numbers, and no, not even your fitness level. Instead, it lies in something very few seniors ever talk about, something many have silently abandoned, not because they wanted to, but because they were made to feel ashamed of it, afraid of it, or simply convinced it no longer mattered. But I'm here to tell you, it does matter. And it may be the single most important key to staying vibrant, independent, and mentally sharp. Not just into your 80s, but well into your 90s and beyond. And the best part? You don't need expensive medications. You don't need exhausting workouts. You don't need some complicated diet. Because this tool, you already possess it. It's inside you, waiting to be reawakened. So stay with me, because in just a few minutes, I'm going to walk you through a simple, science-backed, yet deeply personal process that can reignite your vitality from the inside out. And I promise, the last part may forever change the way you look at aging. Before we go on, if you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe to Core Men 360 and tap the bell icon so you never miss powerful, practical advice designed to help you stay strong, vibrant, and independent. And if what you're hearing already speaks to you, type 1 in the comments below. It lets me know you're here, you're listening, and you're ready to reclaim your vitality. Now, let's begin by pulling back the curtain on one of the most silent but devastating epidemics facing seniors today. An epidemic that quietly steals life, weakens the body, and extinguishes joy before its time. It starts with something most people wouldn't suspect: the loss of connection to physical pleasure. As I sit with my patients, men and women in their 60s, 70s, even late 80s, I've noticed something that breaks my heart more than any diagnosis ever could. Behind their words, behind the polite smiles, there's often a quiet sadness in their eyes, a kind of invisible grief, not for lost friends, not for lost careers, but for something more personal, more intimate, a resignation that life has somehow become smaller, colder, less connected. It's a feeling many can't put into words, but I've come to recognize it like a sixth sense. Because over the years, I've discovered a devastating shift that happens almost universally as we age. A slow and subtle disconnection from the body, from the very sensations that once made us feel vibrantly alive, from physical pleasure. Now I know, this isn't a conversation most seniors are having around the dinner table. It's not something we bring up at the doctor's office. It's rarely spoken, and when it is, it's often met with discomfort, silence, or even shame. And yet, this quiet disconnection is happening all around us. It's robbing men and women of their vitality, not with a bang, but with a whisper. So how did we get here? Somewhere along the way, society fed us a dangerous lie. That intimacy, touch, and sexual expression are the privileges of youth. That once we pass a certain birthday, we're supposed to quietly shut that door and never open it again. That after 60, after 70, pleasure is no longer appropriate, no longer possible, no longer respectable, and too many people, good, wise, loving people, believed it. Some withdrew because of physical changes, others because of emotional scars or loss, and still others simply because no one ever told them that their body could still feel, still give, still come alive. But let me tell you something with absolute clarity. That belief is a thief. Because what most people don't realize is this. When you disconnect from your body's ability to feel pleasure, you set off a silent, downward spiral. Here's what happens. Blood flow to vital organs decreases. Neural pathways tied to joy and connection begin to fade. Hormonal balance tips in the wrong direction. Resilience begins to erode. Physically, mentally, emotionally. Little by little, sleep quality declines, energy vanishes, mood drops, and yes, your immune system even begins to weaken, opening the door to chronic illness, cognitive decline, and emotional flatness. I've seen this firsthand. Once vibrant men and women who slowly lost their spark, not because their hearts failed, not because their bones gave out, but because they unknowingly shut off the very life force that once kept them energized and whole. Now I say this with deep respect. Physical pleasure, whether with a partner or in solitude, is not some trivial indulgence. It is a pillar of human vitality. Neglecting it out of fear, shame, or misinformation doesn't just steal joy, it steals years. But here's the part I want you to hold on to. There is hope. Reconnection is possible. Healing is possible. Your body hasn't betrayed you. It's been quietly waiting for you to come home. When you begin to gently reawaken those long dormant sensations, you start a healing process deeper than most people can imagine. You begin to experience something incredible: clearer thinking, more emotional resilience, a stronger sense of self, even brighter moods and better relationships. Because your body, no matter your age, still holds the key to vitality. You just have to remember where to look. So now the question becomes, what exactly makes physical pleasure so powerful, so biologically essential, that it can protect your brain, your heart, and your very independence? Stay with me, because what you're about to learn next might challenge long-held beliefs and open a door you thought was closed forever. And if you're still watching and this message speaks to something deep inside you, type 1 in the comments below. Let me know that you're still here and still believing in the possibility of more, because now we're about to uncover something that almost no one talks about, but every senior deserves to know. Now I know. Even hearing the word masturbation might make some people squirm, especially those raised in generations where such things were never discussed. But here's what I've learned after decades of clinical experience, research, and listening to real men and women just like you. Biology doesn't care about social discomfort. It cares about blood flow. It cares about hormones. It cares about brain function, mood balance, and immune strength. And here's what biology is telling us, loud and clear. Masturbation after 60 is not a luxury. It is a necessity. It is one of the most powerful, private, and accessible tools we have for extending not just the quantity, but the quality of our lives. Let me explain. As the body ages, it naturally begins to slow certain processes. Circulation becomes less efficient. Hormone levels like testosterone start to drop. Muscle tone and tissue strength begin to decline. And neural activity in the brain starts to shift, affecting memory, focus, and mood. Now, here's where it gets fascinating. Regular sexual activity, even solo, has been shown to counteract many of these age-related changes. Yes, even without a partner. When a senior engages in masturbation, the body responds in powerful, biological ways. Blood flow surges, especially to the brain, heart, and sexual organs. This keeps tissues oxygenated and alive. Endorphins are released, natural feel-good chemicals that reduce stress, elevate mood, and improve sleep. Testosterone levels get a boost, helping preserve muscle mass, bone strength, and emotional resilience. The nervous system lights up, maintaining the health of neural pathways tied to memory, creativity, and emotional regulation. Think of it like this: just as walking helps preserve leg strength, masturbation helps preserve brain vitality, circulation, and emotional wellness. It's not about lust, it's about life force. Now, beyond the biology, there's something even deeper at play. When someone in their 60s, 70s, or 80s chooses to engage in solo pleasure, they're making a powerful private declaration: I am still here. My body still matters. I still deserve to feel alive. That act of self-recognition, of intimacy with your own body, is not selfish. It's sacred. It breaks through decades of silence and shame. It pushes back against the cruel cultural message that says, "You're too old for that. You should be invisible now. You don't need pleasure anymore." But you do. You always have. When my patients embrace this practice, something shifts. I see it in their faces. They sit up straighter, they smile more, they sleep deeper, they eat better. They begin walking, moving, and even laughing like someone who's reconnected with their worth. Some even find the courage to begin dating again. Others strengthen their existing relationships, rediscovering tenderness, intimacy, and joy they thought was gone forever. And for many, it's not about sex at all. It's about dignity. It's about presence. It's about reminding themselves that they are still worthy of care, connection, and pleasure. So when someone asks me, "Dr. Emma, is it too late for me?" I always look them in the eye and say, it is never too late. Your body may move slower now. It may require more patience, more gentleness, more care, but it is still yours, and it still holds the capacity for deep, nourishing sensation, the kind that doesn't just feel good, but literally fuels your brain, protects your heart, and extends your life. Now, if all of this is true, if the benefits are this powerful, why do so many seniors still shy away from this vital practice? The answer lies in something more emotional, more ingrained, and more dangerous than you might think. It's time we talk about the common misconceptions that are quietly stealing the vitality of millions of men and women in their later years. If this part of the message has resonated with you, if even a small part of you feels seen, understood, or hopeful, type 1 in the comments. Let me know you're with me, because what we're about to explore next could finally explain why so many seniors abandon their most powerful source of energy without ever realizing it. Throughout my years in practice, after listening to thousands of stories and watching hundreds of lives unfold, I've come to see something heartbreaking, something invisible, but incredibly powerful. Most seniors aren't losing their vitality because of age. They're losing it because of belief. Specifically, a set of quiet, culturally inherited misconceptions that slowly chip away at their spirit. Until one day, they look in the mirror and see only a fraction of who they once were. And the worst part? They often blame themselves, when in reality, they've simply been misled. Let's talk about the 3 most dangerous myths draining the vitality of older men and women. Misconception number 1. After a certain age, physical pleasure no longer matters. I hear this more often than I'd like. I'm too old for that. Or, that part of my life is behind me, said with a smile. But behind that smile, resignation, grief, loss. But here's the truth. Age doesn't erase your body's ability or need for pleasure. It may change it. It may ask you to approach it differently. But it doesn't eliminate the need, emotionally, biologically, spiritually. Giving up on this part of yourself because you think it's irrelevant is like living in a beautiful house and never turning on the lights. Sure, you can survive, but you'll miss all the color, the warmth, the beauty. Misconception 2. Seeking pleasure alone is shameful. This belief runs deep, especially for those who grew up in religious or conservative homes. You were taught that self-pleasure was dirty, sinful, embarrassing, a moral failure to be hidden at all costs. And maybe even now, decades later, those old messages still whisper in your mind, "This is wrong. This is sad. This means I'm lonely or desperate." But let me tell you this with every ounce of compassion in my heart. Caring for your own body is not shameful. It is a profound act of honoring your health, your worth, and your life force. You wouldn't shame someone for stretching their muscles or massaging their legs. This is no different. It is connection. It is nourishment. It is survival. Misconception. 3. Conserving sexual energy will make me stronger. This is one of the most misunderstood ideas in men's health. There's a belief, especially among older men, that if they hold it in, they'll be stronger, more powerful, or more youthful. But modern science tells a very different story. When you suppress your sexual energy long-term, especially out of fear or guilt, you don't preserve your strength, you weaken the very systems you're trying to protect. Circulation slows, testosterone dips, muscles begin to atrophy, brain function declines. It's like a car that's never driven. You might think you're preserving it by keeping it in the garage, but eventually the battery dies, the engine rusts, the fuel system collapses. Your sexual system is the same. Just like a muscle needs movement to stay strong, your pleasure pathways need gentle, regular activation to stay alive. But perhaps the most dangerous misconception of all is this: that sexual health is separate from overall health, that it's a bonus, a nice to have, something optional. It's not. Sexual vitality is deeply connected to hormonal balance, sleep regulation, mood stability, immune strength, cognitive sharpness, emotional resilience. When you nourish one, you nourish the other. And when you neglect one, they both begin to wither. That's why this conversation matters so deeply, because once you see these misconceptions clearly, once you understand what they've stolen from you, you can take your power back. You can reclaim the vibrant, powerful life that still lies ahead of you. But awareness is only the first step. Now what you need is a clear, loving, practical roadmap. A way to reconnect with your body in a way that feels natural, comfortable, and safe, even if it's been decades. And that's exactly what we're going to do next. If this part of the journey has opened your eyes or touched something in your heart, type 1 in the comments. Let me know you're still walking with me, because now I'm going to guide you step by step through a gentle but powerful system I've spent years developing, one that has already helped thousands of seniors reignite their energy, intimacy, and sense of self. It's called the Restoration Method. After working with countless seniors over the decades, I discovered something important. Many people don't need more motivation. They need a map. Because even when someone wants to reconnect with their body, to feel alive again, they often whisper the same quiet fear, "But I don't know where to start." So I created something called the Restoration Method. It's a gentle, respectful, and science-informed process, designed specifically for the aging body. It doesn't ask you to perform, it doesn't rush you, and it doesn't treat you like a number. Instead, it helps you come back home to yourself, one small, powerful step at a time. Let me walk you through it. Step 1. Preparation. Create a space that honors you. Before you even touch your body, you must send it a signal that says, "You matter." Choose a time when you won't be interrupted. Turn off distractions. Adjust the temperature so your body feels safe and relaxed. Select a comfortable space, a bed, a chair, even a recliner. Use a high-quality, body-safe lubricant if needed. This is not just physical preparation, it's emotional permission. You are creating a ritual, one that says, "I am worthy of this time. I am not rushing. I am here." Step 2. Relaxation. Let the body unclench. Too many people try to rush into stimulation before the body and mind are even ready. Take a few minutes to breathe deeply, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Feel your chest rise and fall. Feel your jaw soften. Let your shoulders drop. Let your belly loosen. Close your eyes if it helps. Let the world melt away. You are not a role right now. You are not a parent, grandparent, patient, or spouse. You are simply you. Alive, breathing, present. Even just this step can begin to reawaken sensations long buried beneath stress and silence. Step 3. Awakening. Gentle exploration without judgment. This is not about going straight to arousal. It's about relearning how your body feels. With clean, warm hands, begin by gently touching areas you may have ignored for years. Your inner thighs, your belly, your chest, your neck, even the back of your hands. Touch slowly, lightly, curiously. Notice sensations. Notice where you feel tension. Notice where you feel warmth, tingling, or nothing at all. You're not trying to achieve anything. You're simply listening to your body's quiet language. Step 4. Focused stimulation. Let arousal emerge naturally. When you feel ready, begin introducing more focused touch to your intimate areas. Use slow, mindful movements. Breathe as you go. Let arousal build without pressure. This is not a race. There is no finish line. In fact, many people find that slower, more conscious touch brings them deeper sensations than anything they experienced in youth. You may feel emotional. You may feel nothing. You may feel overwhelmed. All of it is okay. You are relearning intimacy on your own terms. Let your body guide you. Let sensation, not expectation, be your compass. Step 5. Integration. Pause, reflect, and savor. Afterward, don't just move on with your day. Lie still. Place your hand over your heart or your belly. Say something simple like, "Thank you, body. Thank you for still being here. Thank you for letting me feel." This step, this small act of reverence, plants the seed for lasting transformation. You're not just stimulating tissue, you're restoring trust, reclaiming connection, rebuilding a bridge between who you were and who you still are. And here's the most beautiful truth. This is not about chasing youth. It's about embracing your wholeness right now. Because within your current body, the one with gray hairs and creaky joints, still lives a spark, a spirit that has carried you through every joy and heartbreak. And that spirit is worthy of love, touch, and pleasure. Today, tomorrow, and always. And once you experience even a small flicker of that reconnection, you'll realize something powerful. Your story is not over, your body is not done, and you are not fading. But the truth is, even with the right methods, this journey isn't always easy. There are common roadblocks, moments that cause people to quit too soon. And in the next part, I'll show you exactly how to overcome those challenges, so you can stay on the path to lasting vitality with confidence, grace, and joy. If this step-by-step guide spoke to you, if it gave you hope or peace, type 1 in the comments. Because what's coming next may be the key to making sure your progress doesn't slip away. Now, I want to be honest with you. Even with the right steps, even with the best intentions, this journey is not always smooth. In fact, the path to reclaiming your body, your vitality, and your joy will almost certainly be met with resistance. Not from the world, but from within you. That resistance might come as doubt, as frustration, as shame, or even as numbness. So before we move forward, I want you to know this: that resistance is not failure. It is part of the healing process. And when you know what to expect, you can face those challenges with grace instead of guilt. Let me walk you through the most common hurdles I've seen seniors face, and more importantly, how to overcome them. Challenge number 1: unrealistic expectations. One of the biggest traps people fall into is expecting their body to respond exactly like it did in their 20s. They imagine fireworks, instant pleasure, powerful sensations right away. And when that doesn't happen, They feel disappointed, discouraged, defeated. But the truth is, your body has changed. That's not a flaw, it's a fact. And success now looks different than it did decades ago. It's not about chasing peak intensity, it's about presence, comfort, and reconnection. Even subtle warmth, even a single breath of peaceful awareness, is a victory. You're not broken, you're rebuilding. And rebuilding takes time. Challenge. Number 2. Inconsistency. Healing doesn't happen once, it happens with repetition. Just like restoring muscle strength or flexibility, restoring your sensual connection requires regular attention. Many people start strong, but only practice when the mood happens to strike. And over time, they slip back into disconnection. Here's my gentle advice. Make it a ritual, 2 to 3 times per week, not as a duty, but as an act of self-respect. Water the plant, nourish the roots, and the flower will come, beautifully, gradually, in its own time. Challenge. Number 3. Performance pressure. You'd be amazed how many people bring decades of performance anxiety, even into moments meant just for themselves. They think, I should be able to feel more. I should climax faster. Why isn't it working? That kind of pressure, it tightens the muscles. It shuts down the nervous system. It actually prevents pleasure. So let me say this clearly. There is no right outcome. Let go of the finish line. Let go of the comparison. Let go of the need to achieve anything. This isn't a test. It's a reunion with your own aliveness. Whatever you feel, even if it's just relaxation, is healing. Challenge. 4. Shame and emotional blocks. For many seniors, the hardest part isn't physical, it's emotional, buried somewhere deep inside. Is that quiet voice whispering, "This is inappropriate. I shouldn't need this. I'm too old. Something's wrong with me." Those messages are not yours. They were given to you by culture, by religion, by generations of silence, and it's time to release them. If that shame rises up, don't fight it. Meet it with compassion. Say gently to yourself, I deserve to feel. My body is not dirty. This is an act of love, not lust. Because the truth is, seeking pleasure isn't about indulgence. It's about remembering that you are still here, still worthy, still whole. Every time you overcome one of these challenges, you strengthen not just your sexual vitality, but your spirit. You rebuild your confidence. You deepen your presence. You begin to carry yourself with more dignity, more calm, more quiet power. And as you continue to walk this path, something else starts to unfold. A transformation not just in your body, but in your entire approach to aging. It all leads to a simple, powerful truth. You are not here just to survive. You are here to thrive. And in the final part of this journey, I'm going to show you what that truly means. Because what comes next could be the most powerful shift you ever make in your later years. If this message touched something deep inside you, type 1 in the comments below. Let me know you're still walking with me, still believing in what's possible. Because now, we arrive at the heart of it all. We've come a long way together, and if you've stayed with me through this journey, I want to leave you with one final truth. Your body, your health, your capacity for pleasure and connection, they do not expire with age. They evolve, they deepen, they soften into something richer, wiser, more meaningful, but they do not disappear. And the belief that they do, that you must shrink, quiet yourself, or give up on your physical self, that belief is one of the greatest lies ever sold to our elders. You are not here just to exist. You are here to feel, to move, to connect, to enjoy the miracle of your body, not in the way you did at 20, but in a way that only someone with your wisdom, your journey, your depth can truly understand. You are not too old, you are not too late, and you are not finished. I've watched men and women in their 60s, 70s, even their 80s. Reignite a spark they thought was lost forever. And I don't just mean sexually. I mean waking up with a smile, walking taller, laughing louder, finding joy in food, music, sunrises, and even in their own reflection. That spark wasn't youth. It was presence, permission, reconnection. And that spark can be yours too, right now. It all begins with a simple choice. Not a choice to try harder, but a choice to believe again. To believe that you still matter, that your touch still holds magic, that your life is still unfolding, not winding down. So I want to say this directly to you, from my heart to yours. You are still capable. You are still deserving. You are still alive. In every sense of the word. You don't need permission from society. You don't need perfect health. You don't even need certainty. You just need one moment of courage. To turn inward, to touch your own heart, to say, I'm not done. And from that moment on, everything can change. Start small, be patient, be gentle, but above all, be consistent. Every time you breathe deeply, explore gently, and choose presence over performance, you reclaim not just your sexual vitality, but your humanity. You move from survival to aliveness, from routine to reverence, from aging to thriving. So here's my invitation to you. Let this be the beginning of your restoration, not just of the body, but of the soul. Choose today to write a new chapter, one filled not just with more years, but with more life in every year. Your story is still being written. Write it with strength, with dignity, and with the fullness you were always meant to enjoy. And if this message has spoken to you, if it has awakened something real and personal, type 1 in the comments below. Let me know you're ready. Let me know you're still here. Because I'm Dr. Emma, and at Core Men 360, we don't believe in fading. We believe in flourishing. And your next chapter? It starts right now.